Alright, yo, so what's up? We're coming at you with another welding video here. As you can see, we got our Dragon Wagon set up in some big box looking configuration here. What we're doing is we got to make a fence for our stump grinder. So hold on, before we get into that, what we're doing on this table, let me show you what the stump grinder looks like. Alright, so this is my stump grinder. I got the Kubota L3902 and I got a Land Pride stump grinder that is attached to it. You take off the trailer mover, hook up to the stump grinder, and you got yourself a stump grinding machine. What this does is the tractor will spin this drive shaft, which spins the gearbox. That gearbox will spin a cutting wheel that's up underneath this guard. It's got all these teeth on it that'll rip apart your stumps. The way this spins is this one will spin this way, so it hits your stump and throws all the debris out this way, away from the machine, and all that debris is getting everywhere. On my last job, I actually had to go rake up the neighbor's yard because there was just so much debris that got thrown everywhere. And I'm trying not to have that no more. You know, I don't want to bust out a window or have somebody get hit in the face with a rock or something. I got hit in the face with some of the crap coming off this machine. You know, it's not fun. I'm expecting it, but you know, if somebody's walking by, they may not be. So I figured it was time to make a guard for it. They sell these fancy stump grinding fences, but I don't think they're going to work for this machine. Most stump grinders, the wheel would spin the other way, pull everything into the machine, and then you just, you know, you get your debris, it builds up under the machine, you pull back a little bit, shovel things out of the way, and you can pull forward, keep grinding. Just do that in cycles. But this one throws it away from the machine, and the way it's working is on some of these bigger stumps, when I pull forward to grind more of the stump out and get a little bit deeper, it's throwing all that debris into the stump face and then launching it 20 foot up into the air, and then it's just scattering everywhere. So one of them little tiny stump grinding fences that are like 4 foot tall, made of mesh, I don't think it's going to work for this one. Most of that debris would just go up and over that fence, and it would be a waste of money, I think. I made something out of wood, which I have sitting over here on the fence there. I made some plywood, like doors, put them on door hinges. It kind of worked, but not really. It's kind of flimsy. I would have to reinforce everything on that, and then the wood itself is like a couple 100 pounds. You know, it's pretty heavy to carry around. So I wanted to make something out of steel. And at first in my head, I was kind of overcomplicating it. But I think what I'm going to do is make a modular system, like I was showing you with the fence blocks. Like 4 in the back and then 2 on the sides. Then I think it would be two frame systems on the top. It'll pretty much make a guard where all that debris will hit the top of the guard and just kind of sit on top of the stump. It'll make cleanup easier, and I won't be breaking windows. Yeah, so that machine will just throw debris everywhere. So what we're gonna do, right, is I already made a couple of these. We're gonna make like this picture frame thing here. That's gonna go, there's gonna be a sheet of metal that gets attached to this as well. And then this is it's gonna be modular. There's gonna be a lot of these little frame looking things. There's gonna be 4 in the back, and then I think 2 on the sides, and then 2 on the top. We're pretty much just gonna contain all that debris within the metal. That way we don't lose all the debris. We don't have debris getting kicked up into the neighbor's house, knocking out windows, going into the road, all that fun stuff. I tried making something out of wood, but it didn't really hold up all that well. So yeah, I came up with this plan for this metal thing, and we're going to use the dragon wagon to accomplish this. Anymore, if I have to make something for myself, I pretty much have to take a full day off of work. Because right now, I don't know if you've noticed, I haven't made a lot of videos lately. I've been driving trucks for the Army. I've been doing a lot of trees for people. I've been doing small welding projects here and there. So I don't really have a whole lot of time to build stuff for myself anymore. Yeah, so this dragon wagon is going to help me a lot when I have to do stuff like this. I could have made this guard a bit bigger, just made it one piece, or four pieces, I guess. But the no, I want it to be modular. I'm going into all sorts of weird situations with this grinder setup, so I want it to be one size for like the bigger stumps and open areas, and then if I'm in a tight spot, I want to be able to take it apart, still have somewhat of a guard set up, but I'll be able to make it smaller, grind the stump out, but not have to have this big massive thing that I have to fit in the space. So we're gonna make this modular setup. We'll see what that looks like here in a bit, but we're gonna get the metal in here on the table and get her welded up. I'll let you see what it looks like now that I'm in a kind of a rhythm, what it looks like to get this thing welded up. All right, so back to the welding part of it. It consists of 4 pieces for the frame, and then that one steel plate I was telling you about. So why are we using the dragon wagon here? Why can't I just weld this like on a normal table? The answer to that is you definitely can weld this on a normal table, but I'm going to be building 10 frame sections, like 10 of these. So having to make them kind of all the same, so that way I can weld them together and have them all be in square. It would take a lot of time doing it with a normal welding table. So I got the dragon wagon set up to make this easily repeatable. My cutting station is set up to where all these things are pretty much exactly the same size. I had to cut 45s on these, so they're not exactly perfect. My cutting station kind of sucks for cutting 45s, but when you cut them straight, they're all the same length. So pretty much what you do is you use these fence blocks here. Just kind of set the steel in here, and it'll be pretty much really close to where you need it to be. And as long as all your pieces are cut correctly, you have a weldable structure here in seconds. So all there is left to do now is put the ground on there and tack it up. If you were really worried about it, you could definitely clamp it some more. But for what I'm doing, if it pulls a little bit, I'm not super worried about it. As long as it's all pretty close to the same, we should be okay. And then, because this table is machined, like these all these holes are machined where they need to be. This frame should be exactly square. And then, you know, I can make a whole bunch of these without having to think, without having to measure, without having to square anything up. And the way everything's working for me right now, you know, I'm doing a lot of stuff for the Army lately. You know, I've been doing a lot of trees. I don't really have a whole lot of time to mess around and make things like this for myself anymore. I have my own welders set up right here. I have a welding business, you know, but when I have to make things for myself, right now I have to take off work to be able to build things for myself. So having a table like this is going to help because I can get things done a lot quicker. So yeah, let's get suited up here and get this thing put together, and you can see just how quick it is to actually weld this thing. Alright, so it should be good to go here. I'm going to get my hood on here. So yeah, this first one I'm not going to time myself. Since I already have it set up, I'll just start welding it. Alright, so we got everything tacked together there. So now what I'm going to do is just pull it up, set it on some fence blocks, and that'll get it up off the table. Now I can go ahead and weld her out. I'm only going to worry about one side. The other side doesn't really matter, and I want it kind of flush on the other side to put the plate steel. Alright, so that's welded out there. Like I said, the only thing left to do is put a plate on this. I think I'm going to hold off on the plate until I get them all done. Oh, still got a hole here. I had a little bit of a gap on that, but it welded together just fine. So that's not such a big deal. So I'll set it over here, let it cool down some. And then, yeah, I'll put all the plates on all at once. Since I don't really need the fence blocks for that, I'll get them out of my way before I put the plate steel on. So let me go get another frame here. All right, so this is the second one of today. The sixth one in total. So I've got a little bit of experience doing this. So we're going to time it. I'll set my stopwatch up here. So how long does it take to put this together with the Dragon Wagon? We're going to find out. So let's go. This is also talking to the camera as well. If the camera wasn't here, I'd be moving a little bit quicker than I am. Alright, got it right where I want it to be. Turn this down some. So that took me 55 seconds to get this far. Not too bad. Alright, it's all tacked together there, and that took me another minute. Alright, so we're done. I'll get the ground off of here. Throw it over here. May have to clean that one up a little bit with the grinder. But we're at 4 minutes exactly. I was a little bit slow to hit the timer. Yeah, 4 minutes, 2 seconds. That's what we got on the stopwatch. See? So, yeah. Could you do that without the Dragon Wagon in 4 minutes? I highly doubt it, but that's the advantage to the Dragon Wagon. I got it because Jason from Fireball Tools sent it to me. But that's what I like about it, you know, it's going to save me a lot of time. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to weld out the rest of these things here, and probably do that off camera. Then I got to figure out how I'm exactly getting these bolted together. No, I'll probably put the plates on them then at that point, and then I'll bring you back in, show you the final result. But yeah, this is a pretty neat setup. The Dragon Wagon's definitely helping. I'll show you the old way. I would have to figure out how to get this square. Alright, so you saw me do this with a fancy $5,000, $6,000 table system. I mean, it is nice to have this, but you don't really need it per se. The old school way I would do it, I'd take one of these squares. I'd have to figure out what piece goes where, and I'd make a bunch of these things here. Get that square. You know, I would clamp the square to the pieces, tack it on the outside. Just do that with every single piece. Take a long piece and a short piece, set them up like this. And then once I get 2 of those together, then I can take it, mirror itself, and just keep doing that over and over and over again. And it takes quite a bit of time to do that. Yeah, like I said, you don't absolutely need this table, but it will speed things up. And like I said, with the limited amount of time I have to be able to build things for myself now, this table is helping me out a lot. It's not every day that I build on it. Right now, just because of the amount of tree work I have to do, and then the amount of crap I've had to do for the Army lately. You know, I don't get to build on this as much as I would like, but I think in the winter when things slow down a little bit, there's definitely quite a few things that I want to build with this table. So hopefully I can go ahead and get them done when things slow down a bit. But, you know, I'm not complaining. I need the work. I just bought that Kubota, so that thing's, I gotta get that thing paid off, get some other things paid off. So I'm gonna be grinding a lot of stumps. You know, that tractor cost me a lot of money, but just since I've got it, like in the last 2 months, I've put dang near 80 hours on it and ground out almost 20 stumps with it. So it was well needed. I was renting a lot of things. It was getting expensive, so I didn't really have a choice. So yeah, since Jason was nice enough to give me this table, I'm definitely putting this to use as well. So yeah, catch up with you here in a second. Let me get all these things put together. Alright, so I just got done welding the last frame together. So I don't know if I did a good job of explaining what this table is actually, how it works or why it is the way it is. So you might be asking, why are there all these holes in my welding table? Well, you can take like these little fancy little doodad things here, or like over here we got some clamps. You know, you can set, it's kind of like a Lego table, you know. You set it up however you want. Like, you know, you just move things around, and then you use those as stops. You slide the metal up to it. If you have it set up correctly, and your metal's cut correctly, you know, like say, like these frames I'm building, they're 4'1" by 2'1". So in theory, every single frame should be the same. So I'll get one out here to measure. So yeah, that's exactly 2'1" that way. Exactly 2'1" that way. That's 4'1". Well, no, I lied. According to the tape measure, I'm a 1/16 of an inch under on each dimension. I believe that's due to shrinkage. Yeah, I'm 48 15/16 of an inch. So pretty much that's exactly what it needs to be. A lot of places that build things with even tighter tolerances than this, you know, their tolerance is 1/8 of an inch. So I'm a 1/16 of an inch off, so I think I'm good. And then square, we're at 54 13/16 going that way. We'll cross square it. 54 13/16. So this thing's exactly square. It's pretty much right on the dimensions I need. Which I could have made it any dimension, but I made the dimension based off my table. So that's the advantage of this system, you know. You set some things here, and it's like a Lego system. You know, set your stops, boom. Now you can, you know, you slam the metal up there, have a stop in the other direction, slam the metal up to that, and it lets you build quick and efficiently. So we'll get this off of here. And, you know, now I can put the plate steel on here, and I won't have them things in my way. I'm probably going to leave it off the table, let it overhang a bit there, so I can ground to the workpiece and not ground into the table. Yes, I'm going to have to fix my ground clamp again before I will do any welding. Alright, so the initial plan was to drill all these out, that way I can have a system that bolts together. But drilling this kind of sucks. It's going to take me forever and a day with the drilling system that I have. So I'm not going to mess around with that. I'm just going to weld each section together. It's going to have a back and then two. Yeah, the back system is going to be four of these frames, and then the each side is going to be 2 frames. So it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, so what I'm going to do now is get these plates welded on, and yeah, and I'll show you what it looks like to get the things put together. It was a little bit off. looks like they cut this a bit wide. Whatever, it'll work for me. I'm not that picky. So I went and ground down the welds that I just made on the back side, so this will fit up nice and snug. It's a 16 gauge plate, so it's pretty thin stuff. I was going to go with 18 gauge to make it lighter, but I wasn't sure if it would be too light. So I went with 16, and yeah. Not welding too horribly. It's actually coming out pretty good, I think. I'm definitely not used to welding. Not used to welding near 16 gauge stuff. That's for sure. But it's coming out okay. Over. Get some welds on this side as well. Alright, that should be good. Just some spot welds on her. It's not too, but it's not incredibly heavy. So I think that'll work. It's kind of hot right now. I'll lay that thing off the side here. Get another plate. And get this other one here, put it on. Alright, so now I got two of those put together with the plate on there. Alright, so now I got two of these things with the plate on here. So I'm going to go ahead and get them stuck together. The way I'm going to do that, this may not be the most efficient way. We're going to set up the Lego system again. So each side is going to be two of these. So this will be one side, and then when I get more of these things put together, I'll have another side. So now I can go ahead and get this one welded together. Like I said, I was going to bolt it, but I think welding it should be okay, and it'll be a lot faster. It kind of bowed a little bit in the middle, but it is what it is. Alright, so that's definitely not perfect, but it'll do. I'll have to figure out a way to get each one of these. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to get each one of these to swing out on the back. So, yeah, I'll figure that out in a second. I might put a little bit more welding on here. Let me get this flipped around here. It's a bit heavy, but that's why this thing's going to be modular. So I'm not having to throw around 300 pounds of fence. Yeah, it should be a lot better there. Yeah, we're actually good. I think what I'm going to do is I have some pipes and stuff. I'm just going to weld like a hinge system on this side, on one, yeah, on the side, and then when I get my backstop, put a corresponding hinge system on that. But we'll wait for that. I'll get the backstop set up first. Yeah, that's not too bad to move around. Should sit this way here. Yeah. I think this is going to work out. So I just got to make a bunch more of these. So I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so how I'm going to attach these together is I think everything's just going to be on a hinge. I have 3 little pipes and then a big round bar. I have to cut the round bar down, but they're sitting up on some square, half-inch square bar to get them up as high as they are right now. So I'm going to weld 2 to 1 and then 1 to the other, I guess, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to modify that round bar after I'm done here, and then this should be a section, and I'll go grab 2 more. That'll be a section. I think that'll get me up and running for tomorrow, and I'll probably put this away. It's freaking hot, man. If I had actual long sleeves on, I'd probably stroke out or something in here. It's hot as crap. Sometimes when you can't get your ground clamp to actually clamp to anything, just throw it on the plate. It'll still work. Oh, that's hot. I think that should work there. Alright, I guess we'll see if it hinges. Looks like it works. That's what I was going for there. So, eventually I want to have this a little bit better. What I have to do tomorrow is just to get up and running. just gonna silly this. At 45, it'll block some debris. Still gotta modify these pins. That's one section. I think at least one section will be good for a while. At least I might finish the other section tomorrow. It's too freaking hot for this. Alright, so another reason why I'm trying to build this grinder guard as a modular system is it has to fit in this mess. Now I got this big tractor in here with a loader, got the 4-in-1 bucket, I got the stump grinder hanging off the rear of it, and you know, to get a guard in here, pretty much has to slide in between the trailer and the tire there. So, you know, if I get a few more of these things put together, you know, I'll be able to get the whole system on one side of this tractor and it'll be completely okay. It doesn't stick up too high above my that thing, so that's good. And yeah, like I said, I can pull pins out of it if I want to. I can add more panels, less panels, whatever I need to do for the job site that I'm at. Right now I only have this one panel. It'll be okay for now, but I do want to get the whole system put together. But it's too freaking hot to be messing with it. Then I gotta get this stump ground out. That's the problem with trying to weld things now, is I got so much tree stuff going on, so much army stuff. I haven't had a whole lot of time for welding or scrap metal recently. But the Dragon Wagon's helping with that, you know. Like, it would have taken me hours just to get these two things put together. I mean, that's 4 panels, or 4 frame sections to make one panel. You know, if I had to do that without the Dragon Wagon, I mean, it would have taken me all day just to get this far. With the Dragon Wagon, it wasn't too bad. I would have been able to finish more of it last night, but I was about ready to have a heat stroke. The thing with, like, living up north is, you know, in the winter, you gotta battle the blistering cold. In the summer, it's like 100 degrees and humid. And, yeah, constantly switching temperature ranges. But it is what it is. We're gonna get this thing on site and get some grinding done. And I'll show you why I need a roof on this. Alright, so here we go. I got the thumb grinder all set up here. I got the shield set up over here. Like I said, it's not complete yet. This is just the first iteration of it. I at least need another panel on this, I think, and then possibly a roof. I think having it being modular with 2 panels each is probably key, because it does get pretty heavy. It's just them 2 panels, and you can see I'd carry it from that trailer all the way over there. I mean, I probably could have got closer, but the ground's also kind of wet. We're on a hill. And that's another reason why I want more panels on this. We're on a hill. Just the 2 panels, they can kind of do that and fall down, I guess, if it's getting hit hard enough. You can see we got a building right there. Ain't no windows on this one. I don't think I'll damage it if it was just a stump, but we also got all these rocks right here. I don't want them flinging up through the building. That would kind of suck. So yeah, this is the tree that I cut down, by the way. The neighbor, I guess, is gonna take care of the cleanup. I guess he likes making his own mulch and stuff. And I think a lot of them around here burn firewood. So anyway, this is the stump. This is actually a pretty small one for me. A lot of the stumps I get are this size, or usually probably bigger. This one's all hollowed out in the center. That should make it easier for me. So we're gonna get this thing fired up. And then this is what I'm saying with the teeth. You see how they're gonna swing this way? It's gonna fling everything away from the machine, which in this case would be right up against the building. So hopefully this thing works. We're about to find out. Alright, so I gotta get some of this junk cleaned up before I can keep grinding. I don't really know where I'm at on the stump. But you can see like some of this stuff, it kind of piles up like right in front of the stump. But a lot of it just shoots out in this trajectory. I kind of had this thing in a good spot here. Oh, what is this? Oh, I thought that was a spotted lanternfly. Just about to kill that motherfucker. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of this stuff was shooting out directly at the center of this thing. So I had it in a good trajectory, but it's not tall enough. A lot of the stuff, you can see it was getting hit quite a bit. I mean, there's quite a bit of material that was hitting this and then falling down. But there's also a lot of it too that shot right over the top of this thing. Most of the stuff out this way is going to be lighter stuff, but you know, had this building not been here, all this stuff would have been about 20-30 foot in that direction, which would have made it a lot harder to clean up at the end of the day. And then, you know, right where this stuff was hitting this building is an ideal height for a window in a place like this. Luckily this one doesn't have any, but if it did, you know, all these rocks could potentially go right through the window. So I definitely need to finish the rest of this. I need at least another panel to connect onto the other end of this one, at least one more, possibly two more, and then it needs a roof of some sort. So I think if it had a roof, even like on this one, a triangulated roof, has a big ass fly. But anyway, if it had a roof that was two panels like this, you know, it would have, the trajectory of the debris would have went right up into the roof and then fallen down. It would not have shot over this thing. I mean, I might have had a little bit shoot over the roof, but most of it would have hit the roof and collected in the area right here, which would have made cleanup easier and it would make it safer. So yeah, I definitely need to finish it. Luckily this one, I don't know if you can tell, it's not in a residential area, so I felt okay just taking one panel with me today, or one section I should say. But I do need to finish it before I move into the residential stumps, I think. So hopefully you guys learned something. I might get cooled off, get this thing get in the shop and give you a recap of this thing. Alright, so I'm about ready to start cleaning this stuff up. I think I'm done grinding. I mean, there's still some roots like down in there, like that one. But I mean, they're down in there. They're pretty much gonna get buried. It's almost impossible to get every single root out of these things, especially on the big ones like this. But yeah, I just thought this would make a good case study, I guess, for the grind shields. So usually, I mean, you know, you saw how far that thing was flinging stuff, even with the shield. And I kind of changed my angle of attack, kind of missed it. I was flinging dirt, like at least out to here. Actually, there's a lot of dirt sitting over here too. So I mean, it flings it pretty good. But even though it's not completely finished yet, it's not the way I want it for the long haul. Even just setting this thing up for the time being, I mean, look at this pile of crap right here. I mean, that's halfway up that first frame there. So you know, that's saved me a lot of cleanup. I can just shovel right up into there. Whereas before, you know, I'd have to spend like an hour or two raking all that stuff. Now all that's nicely piled up there. And then, even though I did miss a little bit, you know, it's not horrible. I mean, you know, it is what it is, I guess. But, you know, it's definitely not as bad as it would have been had I not had this thing. So, I don't know, I think it was a pretty good build. The Dragon Wagon definitely helped. So, yeah, I'm gonna get all this stuff shoveled up, loaded out into the trailer, and then see how much dirt we need to fill back in here. Alright, so we're all loaded up again. Makes it easy. I just have these 2 bolts that I used for the hinges. Made it super easy to get that apart. Still pivots with the bolts. I think if I stuck a pin in there with a handle, it wouldn't work. I don't know. I might need a handle for them things though. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, they're just loaded up in there. You can see them right there. As it would turn out, you know, I can't avoid the scrap metal. You know, I'm finding it everywhere. This one I found with the stump grinder. So that was cool. But yeah, so guess let's get back, talk about this thing. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on everything that we did here today? Well, the Dragon Wagon definitely helped improve the fabrications that I built. It would have taken me forever and a day to make as many of those things as I did. Even though I didn't get done in the time that I needed to be able to use the thing, you know, I was still able to get enough done that I could get something in place on that job site. You know, part of the reason why I didn't finish this whole project in one day is because, you know, I'll be honest, I was being lazy. I took a day off of work, and then, you know, I spent a little bit of time making things. I did some other stuff as well, and then, you know, I went out and started working, and it was like 100 degrees out, very humid. So then I tried to build more of it after work and didn't really get a whole lot done. But anyway, it's besides the point. You know, that was on me, the reason why I didn't get it done. The Dragon Wagon definitely improved the time. It definitely improved the productivity. I probably would not have even been able to get anything accomplished had I not had this table. It would have taken me forever and a day to finish, even up to the point that I used that one panel had I not had this thing. It made it very nice, you know, just being able to just brainlessly think about it, or not just brainlessly accomplish stuff. You know, you just throw pieces against different pieces of metal and weld it out. You don't have to measure nothing. You're not trying to put squares on anything, trying to make sure everything fits just perfect. No, you just throw it in there, put your ground on it, and weld it. And so that made it very nice. You know, I was able to build, I got 10 of these little picture frame things done. I still have these 2 I got to put the plate steel on, but I'll get there at one point. And then, yeah, so when we got it on site, you know, the plan kind of worked out perfectly where, you know, I just bring these things out, throw them on the ground, throw them next to each other, drop some bolts in them, set it up, and get to work. So that part of it worked out pretty good. I definitely think having steel for your grinder guard is better than having mesh. Although with the self-contained stump grinders, you know, the only time you're having debris fling forward is like if you're grinding for a while and you get a bunch of debris built up under your machine. Sometimes it'll pick up that debris and spin it around and fling it out the top of the machine where it's not really guarded too well. So that's why a lot of the professional stump grinders have dedicated stump grinding machines, and then they'll still set up like a mesh little fence. Even though that fence isn't really doing much, it does enough for them because their machines are designed different. For the one I'm running, I don't know, I think you do need like a steel guard fenced area. Like I said, I tried making something out of wood, but it didn't really work too well, and it's heavy as crap. So yeah, if you want to see me build some more stuff on this, I'll probably be doing that here soon. I think the trees are going to start slowing down here. I haven't really been advertising for them. I've just been doing whatever jobs that I get through like word of mouth or like people that call me, like previous customers and stuff. So yeah, yeah. Like I said, here soon, I got a lot of ideas in my head that I want to use this table for. So hopefully we'll be able to get that accomplished here soon. And then I think I'm getting another one of them yellow welders, so I'll do a review on that. Trying to do the bike stuff as well. For one, you know, I want to try to help these newer guys learn how to get into welding. And then two, you know, I need to lose weight before November, so I've been riding this thing quite a bit. And then, you know, with the tractor, oh man, I didn't think that thing would be as useful as it is. You know, I knew I needed a tractor. I knew I needed a stump grinder. I thought I needed a bigger tractor. Thought I needed like a actual stump grinder. And then, I don't know, for whatever reason, I just kind of got this idea in my head where I thought that I could get by with that machine. And I've been using that for almost everything now. I have over 80 hours on that now. I haven't even had it 3 months, I don't think. That's probably the one thing I've bought in my lifetime that has exponentially boosted my income and productivity. So I'm going to be using that a lot. I've been trying to make videos on it, but I've also been rushing really bad. So the videos kind of came out like crap. But anyway, yeah, if you want to see more stuff like this, you know, I'll be doing some more stuff like this. So I'll see you.